Hello, this is Blank versus Blank on February 19th, 2021. And we just had a lander land on Mars yesterday. We're going to talk about it right now. So, hello, brother.
Hey, brother, how are things out there?
Good. Did you hear about the Mars lander?
A what?
Yesterday,
No, I heard about it.
the lander Perseverance landed on Mars. I think it was about 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Everything went as planned, which is always scary. But not only did it land on Mars, but it also has a little helicopter as part of its cargo, and that's going to be flying around, hopefully, Mars.
Yeah, it's all very, very exciting. It's for people who didn't pay close attention but knew that there's a lander on Mars. It's the size of a car. It weighs a
Huge.
ton. It is literally the size of a car. The most technologically advanced robot that they've sent into space. So very, very exciting.
Yeah, the kinds of sensors it has, I think it had something like almost 30 different cameras. The first camera that can actually zoom in. It has two recorders, two microphones, so it can actually listen to some of the sounds from the planet. It has actually a drill. The main goal of the project is to look for ancient life on Mars. And so they picked this location. We can actually show it here. It's in a ancient lake bed near the delta into this lake. So it has water that flowed into the lake and out of the lake, and they've landed right on the delta where they think this ancient river was in the lake. So this drill is hollow, so it can actually drill into the bed of Mars and collect samples, which it then stores in a hermetically sealed. They don't want to let any Earth in life get into it. So the idea is that sometime in the future, they're going to pick these up and bring them back to Earth to analyze.
Yeah. So I guess from that standpoint, if they're going to go to Mars and pick up these samples and bring them back, it's like, why do they actually have to store them now? Because whoever goes to get them and bring them back could just get new samples.
Well, and it's going to be a robotic system that picks up the samples, and it's going to take a long time to pick these samples up.
Yeah.
So, they have to find the spots, they have to do the drilling. And, there's an 11-minute, right now, Mars is pretty close to Earth, but it takes light and radio waves 11 minutes to go one way, and I think 22 minutes a round trip. So in order to be able to control the robot, if it were completely autonomous, they could just say go, and it would just roam around, collect samples, and check in every once in a while. But I don't think it's 100% autonomous. There's a lot more autonomy than we had when we first landed on Mars.
Right.
But it's still, it'll look, take a picture, and then some human will give some input, and then they'll send the commands and let the robot move for a little bit. And then a little bit later, they'll look back, see where it is, see if everything's going as planned. And so, humans are still in the loop, as we say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to take, probably a year to collect all the samples that they want to collect. But I'm really excited about the helicopter. That's the one that really has me excited.
Yeah. I think Matt Damon's going to be flying it, isn't he?
Well, let's just hope that he's not involved. But I have a question for you then. So this cost a lot of money. It was at least maybe $1 billion, maybe $2 billion. It was, I think, almost a decade in development. People started working on this specific project, 9 years ago. And so it took a long time to get this, like you say, it's a car. It went into, there's some really nice Mars animation, it coming into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then there's a parachute, and then there's another machine that comes out of that, and it's got rockets, and then it slows down, and then there are these cables that come down and lower the car part, and it drops lightly on the surface, and then the big rocket part takes off and flies away and crashes somewhere else. So just huge, crazy, innovative technology involved, but it costs a lot of money, and that, of course, is taxpayer money. I am just curious, as your with your conservative values, how do you weigh in on NASA?
Oh, I'm in favor. So I think with all things, you have to look at cost and benefits to the country and to Americans. And maybe we can actually find a list and post it up here on the vlog while we're talking of all the different things that Americans and people around the world use every day that are either indirectly or just directly responsible from the space program. Uh, the miniaturization of uh, computers, your cell phone, different kinds of plastics and different types of uh, new techniques for manufacturing, just all sorts of things that have benefited us from the space program more
Yeah,
than just the bragging rights of sending people to the moon or whatever.
right.
Which,
So there's bragging rights, and there's also commercial successes, but there's also just the the search for knowledge to
yeah,
find out who we are, where we came from, what was the solar system like 4.5 billion years ago.
yep, yeah, and yeah, there are great benefits to the understanding, but it also that all feeds into education as well, and uh, just the greater understanding of all all sorts of different types of sciences, from geology to biology to uh, and it's just the entire sense of exploration as well, that for whatever reason, we all seem to be somewhat driven to look over the next hill and find out what's there.
I agree. I don't know about you, but this is one point where I'm really proud to be an American when we can
Yep.
put a project like this, and it actually is successful, and there's just so many people from all kinds of careers that go together to put this in. And really, you couldn't do this on a state by state basis. It really takes something as big as a country in order to put this together, and maybe even bigger than one country. It really takes a world of interest and motivation. It makes me feel good about humanity. Now, I'm not in favor of thinking about Mars as a place that we're going to terraform and move to because we destroyed this planet. But I definitely in favor of exploring the solar system.
Yep. To boldly go where no one has gone before.
That is very well said, Dr.
Yeah.
Spock.
So one thing that didn't actually get overshadowed, I think that it was the uh, all these things coming together that actually made it newsworthy. That there were two other Mars orbiters from other countries that all they both went into orbit this within the last 2 weeks as well, along with ours. So I don't know if that was a planned thing or if it just was happenstance that they all within such a short period of time, all these things have come together at Mars. And it, of course, has a lot to do with just the logistics that Mars is at its closest point right now, which is what everybody was shooting for.
Right. Yeah,
But
I think that's largely it. I don't have any inside knowledge about coordination between the countries, but
yeah,
I suspect more than.
but all of it to happen within like a 10-day span is it's like, wow, that's really really amazing that these things launched so long ago, and they're all coming together right at the almost a same instant.
Not that long ago, actually. It was a pretty short trip. I think it was like 9 months ago. So it's not like these trips that take years and years and years to get where
Yeah,
they're going.
yeah,
But yeah, actually, if you pay attention to the space rocketing, there's been some really interesting news, especially on the commercial U.S. government collaboration. So I don't know if you've been following SpaceX and some of their very large rockets and how they're coming down. It's really fascinating.
yeah. We were. I worked last night, and we actually were talking about how we are still all just stunned when we see one of those SpaceX boosters, turn around and come and land just like a science fiction movie. Right.
Yeah, they're not
But
quite landing yet, but I think when they get to that point, this is really going to be exciting.
yeah. And also, just within the last 2 or 3 weeks, Elon Musk has a large rocket that blew up after takeoff, but they considered that a great success because they've actually got several of them all lined up that are almost built where they can kind of fire them in rapid succession to where he is. I was going to say inching closer. He's actually making pretty good strides towards having a completely reusable rocket where all the components are going to be reusable, where you get it back, you launch it again, you get it back, you launch it again with very little downtime. And
It's pretty exciting.
it's all very exciting. Yeah. I kind of look at Elon Musk as being like the Thomas Edison of our time, just because he's got so many different things going on. You know,
Okay, well,
light bulb, phonograph, movie projector.
I don't think I would put Elon Musk in the same category as Edison. I would put him in the same category as Barnum and Bailey. I think he knows how to run a good circus and he knows how to back something. But
He gets results. I mean, he's done more for electric cars than any of the big three automakers. He Tesla cars look cool. They don't look like an egg with a battery in it,
you know,
and people want to buy them.
well,
He's
I'm not going to give Elon Musk credit for all of that, but he does. He backs a good horse in the race. So,
well that uh, yeah, and unlike Thomas Edison, who was the guy who was
yes,
sitting in the lab doing a lot of work, although Thomas Edison had a whole team of people as well.
sure, yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, Elon Musk is in the same sense of Thomas Edison, is he's a guy who can take an idea and push it in a direction where results come out the other end, and on a whole host of different topics.
Yeah, that's a metaphor that could be used for food and many other things. So I'm not necessarily going to argue with that. I
Yep.
think that's probably a good place to stop when I
Yep.
agree.
Very, very good.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Yep.